Hi guys, it's Owen here from InvestinU again with today's tip, trick and shortcut. So today we are continuing on with conditional formatting. So our part 2 of what we talked about last week. So again, as you know, we're using Excel 365 and last week you saw the awesome power of conditional formatting and what you can do with it. You know, especially for those that are working with lists and so on and so forth. Brilliant tool. One I find myself using on a regular basis when it comes to Excel. So last week I said we would continue on with the more advanced features, some of the more visual side to the tools that come with conditional formatting. So let me just step out of my usual presentation here. And what I'll do then is I'll open up the Excel file, just very similar to what we worked on last week as well. So what we want to take a look at, so just a quick recap, you can remember the conditional formatting tool found under your home tab. Here it is here. And last week we spoke about the brilliant highlight cell rules, the top and bottom rules. And again, what's lovely about those is there's a lot of pre-set up rules already there for you and you can tweak those or whatever. Now, a couple of restrictions that we also discovered, and it's a question I do get asked and I'm going to answer today. I do get asked on a regular basis. With a lot of these tools that we saw last week, they highlight individual cells, so in a column. Okay, but can I get conditional formatting to highlight an entire row for me? And the answer to that question clearly, or I wouldn't have brought it up, is yes. So we're going to take a look at that today. But just before I do that, I do want to take a look at these tools here, your data bars, your color scales, and your icon sets. Visual tools. So you might remember last week I said to you when it comes to Excel, there are 3 different tools you can use to visualize your data. Everybody's go-to is a chart. You've got the lovely spark lines tools, which we'll discuss as well. And now you've got the likes of these data bars or icon sets. Okay, so let me take a quick look. So again, obviously with these data bars and these 3 visual tools here, they work more off numeric values. So I'm going to go into my total column here again, where all my numeric values are. And what I'm going to do is just highlight it like we did last week, go to my conditional formatting, and you can see there's an area here called data bars. Okay, now the way these work, and this is what's brilliant about it, they, based on the area you've highlighted, will work out what your top value is, what your bottom value is, okay, what the average of those values are, and this is all just done by highlighting. And when armed with that information, all I have to do is hover over the data bar. Find the color, essentially, I like the look of, and you can see it working away nicely. Got my lovely live preview working away in the background here. So I'm going to go with this nice red one, and you can see the bigger the value, the bigger the data bar. So I'm working with loads and loads of values, rather than me trying to condense it all into a single chart, and it's too populated, too crowded. I mean, remember, when it comes to these things, less is always better, and it's a brilliant way of doing that. And you can see, look, right down the list, and you can see, you know, your top value, the bigger data bar, the smaller values. And the brilliant part about all of this is if you change any of these, so I'm going to change this value here, say to 250, you can see instantly the data bar updates. Absolutely brilliant. And again, kind of what we discussed last week, if you don't like the look of that, well, guess what? Back to your conditional formatting in the home tab, clear the rules, and you can always try something else. Because remember, it's only formatting, you know, so it's easy to clear. It's a really easy tool to get used to using. All right. After that then comes your color scales. Now, I'm not a big fan of these. Generally, these are pre-set up rules set by Microsoft. Again, if I'm going to do something like that, I'll probably build them through the highlight cell rules part. But let's take a look at the color scales. Hover over it and you can see preset rules to say if it's above a certain value, below a certain value. You've got all these fantastic colors and so on and so forth in there. But that's the color scale side of things. One of the most popular ones, believe it or not, actually is found in the icon sets. And again, a really popular one that people tend to go mad about is the traffic light. And you can see, look, I'm going to hover it, and there's loads you can choose from here, but I'm going to go with the green, yellow, red traffic light here. And you can see it's got my lovely traffic light right the way down the list. Absolutely brilliant. So again, you're probably wondering, how's that working out? Well, think about it. You got the 3 traffic lights, so your top 33% getting the green traffic light, bottom 33%. The red, and everything in between is the yellow. Okay, now, again, these are all pre-set up rules. So the big question then is, well, I like the look of the traffic light, but maybe I don't like the percentage that it's using. Maybe I'd like to have the top 25% green, bottom 25% red. Is that possible? Well, of course it is. All right, again, all you need to do is start highlighting your data or apply the traffic light you like the look of down to conditional formatting, manage the rules. And again, look, there's the rules that I've got. And if I select, edit the rule, now look what I can do. I can go in and tweak that rule so it fits around what I want as opposed to what Microsoft have said. So if I want the top 25%, I'm going to say greater than or equal to 75%, please, and anything lower than 25. Top 25, bottom 25, click OK, apply and OK, and now my rule is my top 25%, bottom 25%, and so on and so forth. Now, here's the issue that I've come across over the years of doing something like this. You've now discovered, or maybe you knew about this, you've now got the traffic light working away nicely for you. Now you set the rules. You send this file onto somebody else. They're looking at this file and saying, okay, well, I've seen the traffic light before, so I assume the top 33 is green, bottom, but we know it's not. We've changed it. So the only major downside to conditional formatting is if I want to find out what rule you've applied here or changed, I have to highlight the area, go into conditional formatting, go to manage rules, and find out this way. Okay, so my advice to most people, it's a bit of a manual site, but again, something to think about. If you're going to change these rules, create yourself a little legend. Okay, it doesn't do it for you. You have to do it. So you can have green represents this, yellow represents this, red represents this, and so on and so forth. So again, it would be fantastic if when you've applied a rule like that you could come in here and it says create a legend and it produces the legend. It doesn't yet. Okay, I am saying yet, but it doesn't at the moment, so you have to manually create it yourself. But there, fantastic data bars, icon sets, and the fact that you can alter those too. Again, if you don't like it, all we have to do, highlight the whole thing, conditional formatting, clear those rules, and you can always start again. Absolutely brilliant. Now, let's take this a step further again. So I'm going to answer that ultimate question that people ask. Can I get it not just to highlight the single cell of that column, but what about highlighting an entire row of data? So imagine I wanted to look at maybe the regions. Let's go with the regions here. I want to highlight all East regions. Okay, all of the East regions. Okay, now I could simply do this. Conditional formatting, highlight cell rules, as we discovered, equal to East, please, and you can see. But it's only highlighting the single cell. I want to take it a step further. So the key to getting this to work is you need to highlight your data. Now, what's important here, by the way, guys, is this. Don't highlight your headings. So what you're noticing here is I'm highlighting the data. I'm not highlighting the headings. So I'm going to highlight that. Now, unfortunately, the rule that I want to build is not in any of the ones that Microsoft provides, but it does, you'll notice here, produce one called a new rule. So what I can do here is I can go into the new rules section, and you can see with this one, it gives you a number of options, format cells based on their values, format only cells, top and bottom, unique or duplicate, above and below. You can see this all on them. What we're looking to do is use a very simple formula to get this to work. Okay, so I'm just going to produce a very simple formula. And what I'm going to do here, so I'm just saying use a formula to determine which cells to format, and I'm clicking down here. So this is going to be my condition, and I'll tell it what formatting I want. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say equals, and I'm going to point to this cell here. So if this cell here is equal to, and because I'm using text, I've got to make sure it's inside inverted commas. Now remember, it's not case sensitive, so I don't have to worry about capitalizing the first letter. So number one rule, while we're doing this, remember when you're dealing with text and formulas, all text in formulas have to be inside inverted commas, or your double quotes, or whatever you want to call them. Now, here's the problem. I've stated in this rule, if B3 is equal to East, and then I'll tell it what formatting I want. So if I go in here and say, right, I don't want just the font color, I want the fill color, and I want the fill color a blue. So I'm just going to pick a light blue color here. Now, the only problem with this rule at the moment is I'm using an absolute reference here, $B, $3. So that's called an absolute reference in Excel. So you have a relative reference and you have an absolute reference. The problem is I need what they call a mixed reference. Now, what that essentially means is I need to tell Excel, stay in this B column, but check 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go over to the $B, $3, and I'm going to take the dollar away from the 3. Okay, so I'm leaving the column absolute. So in other words, stay in the B column, but I'm leaving the 3 relative. So that 3 will then go down 4, 5, 6, all the way down to the end of my highlighted area. Okay, that is known as a mixed reference. So you have your relative references, no dollars effectively, your absolute dollars on both the column and row, and then you have your mixed reference where the dollars are either on the row or the column. Okay, in this case, I've got it on the column because I want it to stay in there. This is the color I want. I click OK, and look what it does. It instantly goes down that list and highlights all occurrences of the East. That way, you can highlight the whole thing. So just remember a couple of key things there. Remember, highlight everything except for the headings. And again, then if I come in here, I use new rule. And in there, then I set my rule, but I use the mixed reference. The dollar on the column, but not on the row, because I want it moving from the 3 all the way down to the end of the highlighted area. Look, I hope, guys, that helps you or convinces you that that conditional formatting tool is absolutely brilliant. You can see it is. You can see why I use it on a regular basis. Again, like always, guys, if you have any questions on any of these, don't be afraid to kind of throw them in the comment section, you know. And as always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You'll catch all of these videos on our YouTube channel, and you can also get us on our website, www.InvestinU.ie. As always, guys, stay safe, and I'll talk to you next week.